Here are the rocks we're gonna draw now. They might seem like really simple objects, and they are. But actually, we'll learn a bunch of cool stuff while drawing them. And if you are curious about how games are made with pics like these, there is a link in the description to a free beginner's game making course. Alright, let's get started. How to draw a stone for our game. Let's draw a few stones to understand the process from simple to complex. Let's first draw the simplest version of a stone possible. For this, as usual, I'll take the pen tool, Bezier curves, and draw some kind of stone. Let's say one with this shape. And I will add an outline, maybe make it a bit thicker. Here is such a stone. I will just make it smaller. In principle, this stone is quite suitable for certain types of games. Games vary and graphics vary, but now I will make this stone much more interesting. By pressing Ctrl D, I make a copy, and I will make the stone with a lot more colors and shades. Again, I take Bezier curves and start drawing different shades. Let's say this will be a shade. I will make another copy of the stone I have in the background. I select it. Ctrl D again, or edit duplicate to make a copy. Ctrl D. Now I select the one I drew for the shade. I will make it darker, and this one too. Then I take path intersection. I keep only the intersection. Now I have two different objects, and I will make this intersection a little darker, and I will turn off the outline. I don't think I need it. Now I will create another shade. It will be a bit darker. I select the stone I have in the background again, and here it's preferable for them to match, by the way. To make them match, I will enable the magnet. I enable the magnet, and the points match. In principle, I can even just use the magnet, because the stone is very angular. It has right angles, and it's easy to adjust with the magnet. But still, I want to show how to do it, in case your stone isn't as straight as mine. So, by pressing Ctrl D again, I make a copy of the main stone. I select the shadow object with Shift pressed, object with shadow, and I take path intersection. Now I have another shade. No, actually I will do it like this. I will turn off the magnet. It will get in the way now. Although maybe it won't. I will turn it on again, because I need to pull the point here again. Now I can continue like this, and here will be a light shadow. That's it. I select Ctrl D. Again, I make the main stone. I select this new object for the shadow, and I take intersection again. And it matches in color. Let it be a bit darker than the original stone. Now I turn off the magnet. Okay, this shadow, which is behind it, I will click here and bring it to the front. Let it be like this. Okay, now I can add a shadow here. Another shadow. Again, I make a stone. I select the stone using path intersection. I bring this one forward. I bring this one forward. Now I have a stone with more shades. You can add some other things like this. Here I'll use a magnet for simplicity. And I'll do it like this. There will be some kind of shade here. Actually, I can use not just gray shades, but more diverse brown tones, for example. Or some other ones. This stone looks more interesting now. Although no, this color doesn't suit. I'll rather use some gray shades here. You can also use Ctrl+D to make a duplicate of the stone and turn off the fill so that only the outline is visible. This stone looks much more interesting than this one, although I think logically this shade should be darker than this one. I think it should be like this. And the last option. Of course, you can start tracing stones drawn by professional artists. To learn how to draw super cool, diverse, awesome stones, you should first repeat after professional artists. After repeating many times, you can get the same results. But I won't copy directly from artists because if you trace other people's pictures, there can be copyright issues. So you can use neural networks like Midjourney or ChatGPT to generate images. It will generate some stones for a 2D game that you can trace. Now I'll show some options that I've created using neural networks. Here's an example of one option. Here you can see that the stones are less angular than mine, and they have more shades. There's a shade here, and here's another one, and so on. You can trace this picture and make exactly the same stone or something very similar. This will help you understand how to transition shadows and colors for a well-designed stone for the game. Let's load this image here and try to trace it at least. I don't want to do the whole process because I think it's pretty clear. We go to File, Import, and choose this image. It was, I think, in this set. And here are some stones. Well, it doesn't really matter which one to choose. I made many so I could pick. Here we see the stones. Ideally, for convenience, we should go to the Layers section. Layers. Here's the first layer where the stones are. I'll lock it and create a new layer to draw on. I don't think I'll do the whole stone. I just don't want to waste too much time, because I've already shown how to do it using the platform examples. Now we trace the stone, start without the fill, turn off the fill, and leave the outline to see its shape. I'll make it rounded, smoothed. Then we repeat the shadows. One shadow will go here. We'll smooth it out too. Here's this stone, Ctrl+D to duplicate it, select it with this one, go to Path, Intersection. Now we have this shadow, and we can use the pipette tool to pick the same color for the shadow. This way, we learn to make our own objects that look just as good as professional artists' work. Because essentially, we are copying them. In this case, I'm copying from a neural network, but it copies and redraws professional artists. Now I select Ctrl+D, make a copy of the bottom stone, select it with Shift, and this one, Path, Intersection, and do it like this. I feel like I can draw this stone in a simplified version in just a few minutes. Ctrl+D, although here I don't need to make the intersection, because this shadow is inside the stone. But for this stone, oh no, I can't set the shadow color here yet, because there's another shadow, another color. Intersection. The shade here is like this. I'm using fewer shades than on the original stone because it's faster. There are small cracks too, but I'm not tracing them. I'll turn off the outline for the objects above for the shadows, and I'll copy the bottom stone again, turn off its fill to leave only the outline. Here's the stone I made. Now I'll unlock all elements in the first layer, delete the image I traced from. Here's the stone I traced. I can select all these objects, make an object group or Ctrl+G. Here's the stone I traced. I like it more than the one I made, and much more than the simple primitive one. This is how you can create stones for your games, and other simple objects, plants, background or foreground decoration elements, and other objects. They can be very simple or quite complex.